And we are back here with another video today. My name is Reichley Ruby. Welcome to the Football Expert. And today we are be going over Houston 2026 football predictions. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Like this video if you enjoy it and comment your thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you think of this Houston schedule. Who do you think is going to succeed? Do you think that they meet or exceed that level of 10-3 that they finished last year? Do you think that they make the Big 12 championship? Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are down below and help me reach my goal of 7,000 subscribers by the start of the college football season by hitting that subscribe button down below. So let's get straight into the video. So Houston, they start off the season at Oregon, or a home game against Oregon State. My apologies. They played at Oregon State in Corvallis last year, and a very interesting game, a Friday night game. And if you've watched any of my videos so far, Friday night games are always very interesting, especially in places like Oregon State, where they only won 27-24 in overtime. So they were able to beat Oregon State, but it was a bit of a struggle. There was no doubt about that. So if it were personally me, I think that this game is probably a win, but I definitely am a little bit hesitant to say for sure, because obviously last year Oregon State was a very close game. So I think that it will be a good game for Houston, a good kind of warm-up game for them to see where this team is at. But yeah. Then now you have Southern coming to town. Easy win here. I don't think you have an issue there. Then you have a road game, a Friday night game at Texas Tech. And here's where I find this very, very interesting. Houston and Willie Fritz now with Kyler Wegman at quarterback. Wegman had a great year last year. Like let's look at his stats. 2,700 yards, 65% completion percentage, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Did have 18 sacks on the season, a bit high in the sack total, but also had 700 yards rushing and 11 more touchdowns on the ground. As long as rush was for 50 yards. Here's the thing. Wegman is a very underrated quarterback, in my opinion. And I think that this Houston team is very underrated, in my opinion. Malik Hughes, now the running back at Houston, was the former running back at Oregon. But before there, as many of you Houston fans would know, he was at Tulane with Willie Fritz, 3,800 yards, 1,400 yards, 7 and 5 touchdowns respectively, was the rookie of the year in the 2023 season of the AAC. So very interesting to see what happens there. But I say all that to say Texas Tech, with the Brendan Sorsby stuff, and disregard my previous video about Texas Tech, if they don't have a quarterback, I'm taking Houston to win this game because I don't dislike Houston. I think that Houston is in a good spot. I think that they have a good place right now. And Willie Fritz is a darn good head coach. I have Houston beating the Texas Tech Red Raiders on the road. Plus, it does help that it's a Friday night and it's just interesting and odd. I don't love, especially like Texas. Many of you guys that are from Texas, big football state, a big high school football state, right here up in South Carolina, big high school football state. I don't love having games on Friday nights. I feel like that's high school football. Same with like whenever the NFL has games on Saturdays nearing the end of the season. I just don't like it. It's dumb. Same reason why you should have the national championship on a Saturday, not a Monday. That's neither here nor there, though. Next game is a road game at Georgia Southern. Interesting to see that this game was on the road. I assume that this was planned before, well, they were in the AAC, where it would make a little more sense for them to be going on the road. But easy win here. Georgia Southern, not a great program at the moment, have a lot of issues that they need to deal with first. Then they have a home game against UCF. Very interesting game here. Because, well, UCF, they're a good team. They do bring in Scott Frost for the new season, new tenure at UCF. So it could be interesting to see what Frost does, but I don't think Frost will turn them around in year one. So I have them a win for Houston. They are rolling here. Road game at Kansas State. This is a really interesting one with Kansas State's situation. I think that Kansas State is a good team and has a lot of good pieces to it. And obviously, with the hiring of Colin Klein now as the head coach after Chris Klenman stepped down, I think I'm saying that wrong, but either way, Colin Klein, obviously the former Kansas State football player and a stand there while he was there, led the program to new heights. So very interesting to see what happens there. But I have a win here for Houston, though this game is tricky. I don't know what I think of this game. This game could very much I could very much change my opinion on this game. Kansas State may win this game. I'd like to see what they look like during the season and what Klein looks like as a head coach before I really make a decision. Then you have a home game against Oklahoma State. And I think that this is another win. I think Oklahoma State, obviously, with bringing in the whole North Texas football program, Drew Mestamaker quarterback, and the whole stuff there, is a good get. I definitely think it is. I think that was a good hire. I think it was a good idea. Here's the thing, though. I just don't know in year one that they're going to beat this Houston team. So I have that as a win. Then a road game against Utah. And obviously, once again, you got 4 straight games against new head coaches. I'm not 100% sure. Georgia Southern may have a new head coach. I'm not sure. But yeah, Utah is a very interesting situation right now because, well, like they hired Morgan Scaley as their new head coach. He was previously the defensive coordinator at Utah. And Kyle Whittingham has built that program into a behemoth. There's no doubt about it. And I think that that doesn't change immediately. I think that there's still a lot of things that would have to go in order to make it a bad program. But right now, I think that this is where we trip up. I think that Houston is going to trip up here at Houston or at Utah. My apologies. At Utah, I think that there is a loss on this schedule in the first half before the bye week. Obviously, very well could be the Texas Tech Red Raiders. But I think that they beat that game. I think that they lose this one at Utah, riding a little bit too high. Bye week, and then a game against Cincinnati. Very interesting one here because obviously Cincinnati is a good program overall, obviously with Luke Fickell. And then now they've seen some success now with Scott Satterfield. I never really loved the Scott Satterfield hire. He didn't do well at Louisville, and I thought Louisville got the better end of that deal of getting rid of Satterfield, not having to fire him, and then, bringing in Jeff Brom. So I think that looking at that scenario, I don't think Houston wins this game because it's on the road for Houston. And I think that they have a little bit of work to do on their offensive side. Obviously, with Sorsby not being there and a new quarterback. But at the same time, I think it also is a team that isn't going to immediately lose its footing. Defensively, I still think that they're going to be good. And I think that they'll have a lot of pieces going for it. And this is where like the Malachi Hughes, my apologies, the transfer running back, I think really plays a part because I think he fits the system. Obviously, with Willie Fritz, yes, he was playing at Tulane and he wasn't playing at Power 4 conference level. But I think he fits the system a whole lot better than he did before. That's for sure. I think at Oregon, it just obviously injuries and everything that regards that, I think hurt it. But I think that that is going to be a win there for the Cougars. Then a road game in Boulder, Colorado. This was a very interesting game. Last year, they won it 36-20, kind of starting off Colorado's tough season. So I think a very interesting one at that. I have this as a win. I don't think Colorado is going to be a bad team this year, but I don't know if Deion Sanders is good enough to get a win here against what I think is a very, very good Houston team, as you are seeing in this prediction. Then you have a road game against West Virginia. Very interesting game at West Virginia last year. Lost it 35 or 45 to 35. I don't think that you get a loss here again, but just keep in mind that because that game was at home for Houston. I don't love it, but at the same time, you never know. So that is going to be a win there for the Cougars. And then finally, you have a home game against Baylor. And I think that this is a win, but by no means is it a guaranteed win. Houston is a team that goes back and forth with Baylor, and they're both good programs, I think. So Willie Fritz and Dave Aranda, whether Dave Aranda is still there, could see what happens there. But that's going to wrap up today's video. Hit one of the 2 videos down below. One will be a playlist of all my college football prediction. Hit the subscribe button up here as well. So help me reach that goal of 7,000 subscribers. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye.